Hello. Patricia Lynn Nichiporowich was murdered in Belize on October 29th, 2013. Why? Let me introduce myself. I am David Dorenzo, and I lived with Patricia for almost 6 months in Corozal, Belize, before she was murdered there more than 8 months ago. I have two motivations for this broadcast. One is personal. Patricia was my soulmate, my best friend, my lover, my everything. When she was murdered in Belize, she took part of me with her. I want to see justice for her. Secondly, Patricia was an exceptional human being who cared about her fellow human beings and would help whenever and wherever she could. I believe it was her honest communication of what life was like in Belize to expat retirees that may have led to her demise. She loved Belize, but we both recognized that Belize was not for everyone. She strongly recommended spending time exploring and investigating the country before making an investment to move and retire there. I am now convinced that this approach is even more critical and want to further make the case. Patricia was stabbed to death during a home invasion at about 7 p.m. local time on the evening of October 29th in Consejo Shores, about 7 miles north of Corozal, Belize. I, David Dorenzo, was not at home at the time, having left the day before on a flight from Belize City to Miami to take care of some business and return a car to our primary residence in Vero Beach, Florida. I had a return ticket for Saturday of that week, November 2nd, and Patricia was to meet and pick me up. After learning about her death while at home, I did not return. I wanted Patricia to come to me with Florida, but she was certain that she would be turned around at the Miami airport. See, Patricia is a Canadian citizen, and I am a U.S. citizen, and about 16 months ago, the U.S. Border Patrol determined that she was an immigration risk and would not be allowed back in the country. That determination resulted in her staying behind, and every time I think about it, I become very, very angry. But the particulars of that will be part of a report for another day. Patricia was known as Lynn by most of her friends. She had many all over the world. She was friendly, unassuming, tolerant, and always willing to help people. And helping was something that she did willingly and help she could. She was extremely intelligent and knowledgeable about many things, and I know she had a genius IQ. She was also a very accomplished woman who founded, created, and owned an internet mold inspection and remediation business in Vancouver, Canada. She managed that business from wherever she happened to be, and employed her son and several others in Vancouver who performed the actual service. She was previously a marketing executive and product manager for both Unilever and Sara Lee. In 2012, she was selected as a lifetime member of Who's Who in American Business. She was a graduate of Belizean University in Montreal, and as I said, a Canadian citizen. The question is why? And what does it mean for other North Americans contemplating a move to Belize? Let me attempt to answer the last question first. If you are a white North American expat, I believe you are prey with a target on your back for the natives. Break-ins, home invasions, theft, robbery, and killings are a fact of life in Belize. The natives are rarely caught when a crime is committed against the North American expat, so the perpetrators know they can commit these crimes with impunity. Police protection is non-existent, and self-protection is almost impossible, as it is illegal to own a weapon in Belize. Let me just summarize by saying this. If you live or plan on retiring to Belize, please get a brain scan. Make sure you're competent. We will never know for certainty why Patricia was murdered. There was no clear motive and not much of an investigation. I have given this a lot of thought and have numerous theories, but they go beyond the scope of this presentation. Here I will only allude to one. First, understand that Patricia loved Belize, but our investigation of the country revealed that many expat communities and homes within those communities were empty and deserted. We both believe that many expats purchased property and moved based on a dream without much investigation and later left the country disillusioned. Patricia spent much time advising North Americans, particularly on the internet blogs, to spend time and investigate the country before moving in and retiring. She also warned of unscrupulous North American developers who sold the dream. The dream? An unimproved, piece of land with a promise and a picture. I am sure the development community, comprised mostly of North American builders, were less than happy with what she wrote on these blogs. What follows is a thumbnail sketch of what I know concerning the crime. The murderer or murderers knew that someone was at home as they attempted to gain access to our second-story apartment. There was an SUV parked out front. Probably Patricia's dog was barking, as he barked at everything that moved. And the veranda doors were open. She always left them open for the breeze. To gain access, they had to climb a vertical wall to a second-story veranda, as the metal gate to the veranda was locked. And that was verified by the police in their report. 3. They repeatedly stabbed Patricia with an 8-inch knife. And that knife was left behind and picked up and taken by the police. We know that Patricia screamed as she was being attacked, which would have drawn neighbors to the scene. A discernible footprint was left in the ground near the steps, providing an entry to the second floor. According to the police report to the media, it did not appear that anything was stolen. Daniel Arzu of the Corozal Police stated that, and I quote him, "We observed that they have iPods, cell phones, expensive stuff within the premises. The perpetrators were too, I quote, unquote, distracted by Patricia's screams to steal anything." It's quite interesting that the iPod was later shown as missing from the police-provided inventory. Next, the Corozal Police have no clues, no suspects, and to my knowledge they are conducting no further investigation. And as part of their crime scene investigation, the Corozal Police took absolutely everything of value from the apartment and have indicated they have no intention of returning any of it until they complete their investigation. which in my mind means never. What investigation? A lot of valuable equipment is missing. Missing from their inventory, missing from the apartment. They don't even know that. The Corozal Police rejected my offer to speak to them and answer any questions via a phone conversation in November within 2 weeks of the crime. The Corozal Police seized and locked up our best friend for 2 days in one of the Corozal jails. And from what he tells me, he was not treated very well, despite the fact that he had a very concrete, solid alibi for his time when this crime was committed. His comment to me was, they told him, well, we have to lock up somebody. The Corozal Police, again, have insinuated, and much of the Belizean Corozal population believes that I, David Dorenzo, was the culprit. Mind you, they knew I was in Florida at the time. They confirmed that I got on the plane the day before, and they also knew that I had a return ticket for Saturday, 4 days later. That's what I know. And the only thing that I can conclude from any of the above is that at best, the Corozal Police are incompetent, and at worst, they are absolutely completely corrupt. That is the protection that will be afforded you, the expat, should you decide to live, retire in Belize. While there is no official count of North American expats in Belize, someone did estimate that there are approximately 3,000. That doesn't seem like a lot. In fact, I think it's an understatement. But when one notes anecdotally the number of house break-ins, robberies, house invasions, outright murders of North Americans, the amount of crime against expats is a significant statistic. As I said earlier, North Americans are prey. We have money and stuff that the average indigent Belizean will never be able to afford. Again, if you're living in Belize or contemplating retirement in Belize, please get a brain scan. I am not finished with this. I will not rest until there is some justice. But for now, that is all I have. Thank you.